morning, everyone. It's so good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our medical Qigong practice. It means a lot to us that we get to see you. So welcome to Monday morning medical Qigong. Let's go ahead and open up for practice. Feet are going to be parallel so that the channels are open evenly in the front of the body, in the back of the body. We're settling into the space, breathing in and out through the nose, allowing the mind to settle into the breath, allowing the breath to relax the body, and allowing the qi to flow freely. We're going to start swaying from side to side, bringing the hands in a loose fist. The tip of the tongue is touching the roof of the mouth. And then we're going to let that lead arm travel up the torso towards the opposing shoulder. And traveling back down the body. Taking away some of the momentum, releasing the hands. Getting ready to open up the channels in the lower half of the body, widening the stance, tapping the inner thigh and then up at the hip. Continuing on from the hip, down the inner aspects of the legs towards just above the ankle. Then to the lateral aspects of the legs. And once you get to the glutes and the hips, sliding that left foot a little closer to the right, maintaining hip width, shoulder width distance. Maybe adding in a little more oomph to the tapping here. And then backing off as we come up underneath the rib cage. Waking up the kidneys. Placing the palms at the low back, circling down the sides and up the spine. Resting the palms at the low back, closing the eyes. Inhaling through the nose, guiding the breath and the qi through the nose, down the throat, into the torso, meeting with the palms at the low back. And then exhaling, allowing the energy to flow freely to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling, guiding the breath and the qi to the low back, allowing it to fill up with energy. And exhaling, allowing this energy to flow to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Letting the mind sink into the breath. And when you're ready, gently opening the eyes, letting the arms come back down to the sides and closing by bringing that left foot back to the right. We're working on our Golden 8 series today. Starting with our lung and large intestine exercise, reach for happiness. Inhaling. Exhaling. In and out. Inhaling. Exhaling. In and out. Continuing on, working with your own breath. Trying to stay as relaxed as possible. Allowing the tissues to soften and open. Allowing the breath to reach deeply into those tissues, reach deeply into the body. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our heart, small intestine exercise, the archer, opening. Inhaling. Exhaling. In and out. Allowing yourself to flow from side to side. Allowing the breath to guide the rate of the movement. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our spleen stomach exercise between heaven and earth. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. And exhaling. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our Sanjiao exercise. Turn and look back. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. Exhaling. Continuing on. Allowing yourself to feel through the exercise. And getting ready to close. Closing. Our liver gallbladder exercise, twist and release. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Allowing your thoughts to stay with the exercise. And allowing the breath to carry you through the exercise. Getting ready to close. Closing. Bend for health, kidney and urinary bladder. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. Out. Inhaling back to the start. Continuing on. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our rim channel exercise. Energy punch. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Inhale. And exhale. About one more on each side. And releasing. Our dew channel exercise. Energy jump in 2 parts. Inhaling and exhaling. In, out. Transitioning, inhaling as the arms come up, exhaling as they come down. And then taking away the momentum. Closing. Keeping those feet together so we can retain all that wonderful energy, bringing the palms together. Transferring some of that wonderful energy to the palms so that we can then transfer that wonderful energy to the face. Washing the face 9 times. And then the brow underneath the eye, wiping 9 times each. Wiping up and down the entirety of the nose. And then we're doing circles in and then out at the lower, mid, and upper aspects. Imagine just underneath the pupils at the cheekbone, there's a little divot. Using all the fingertips to dredge the channels of the scalp. Before then beating the drum. Grasping the ears. Popping the cork. One fingertip filtrum, the other the mandibular crease inward and outward. Massaging the jaw. Our magic number turns to 12 times total, or 6 times each side. And then down the breastbone. Bringing the palms to the lower dantian, circling 9 times up the right and down the left. And then switching directions. Resting the palms at the lower dantian, closing the eyes, allowing the mind's eye, the mind intent, to drop low into the lower dantian. As we inhale, guiding the breath and the chi to the lower dantian, allowing it to fill up with energy. Exhaling, allowing that energy to settle and store so that it may be used throughout the rest of your day. Inhaling, guiding the breath and the chi to the lower dantian, allowing it to fill up. Exhaling, allowing it to settle and store. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Allowing the mind to relax into the breath to relax the body, and allowing the chi to settle and store so that it may be used throughout the rest of your day. Thank you all so very much for joining us on this Monday morning. Henry, will you please give us Chinese medical theory now?
Hi, good morning. Hey, sorry, a little bright out, so I'm gonna keep my sunglasses on. I hope I don't look too cool. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know there's a lot on everyone's minds, and Qigong at this time may be very difficult and challenging to do, but it is also that much more important to maintain your practice and to continue to cultivate your water wisdom. So we're going to talk a little bit about today, actually, you know, where we're at now in society in its current circumstances is a very good analysis of 5 elements and how the 5 elements are working together. So let me pull up the chart real quick of the 5 elements. And this is just my analysis and understanding just from a 5 element standpoint of how everything's working or actually not working together. So we have our 5 element charts. Okay. So 5 elements we look at not just in terms of like nature and how the different natural elements are working together, but we look at, you know, elements that are part of emotions, that are part of who we are as people. So when we look at this overall, we can see that there's, it's about earth, okay? So earth is what provides that connection to all the other elements. When we look at it in terms of seasons, right? After every season, it transitions into the earth, right? It provides us with grounding, it provides us with connectedness. And there's also, earth is what's about nurturing. So there's a lot of lack of nurturing that's going on between the different elements. So that connection has sort of been frayed. And this has been happening for a long time. So when we have the earth that's not nourishing, okay, now we can put it in a context. of like the generating cycle and the control cycle. Okay, so when earth is not nourishing, right, it means that water goes out of control. There's an excess amount of water because the earth isn't able to balance it out. And what is water about? Water is the emotion of fear and wisdom. So for us right now, there's a lot of fear, and there's more of a lack of wisdom at the moment. And what happens with that? So you can see there's a chain reaction that's happening. When there's a lot of fear, there's lack of wisdom. That means it's not birthing the right kind of wood. So that fear then is causing the wood to act out in ways that may or may not be constructive. So there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of passion, and that's the element of wood. So we do have to be careful, and also because the earth is not generating metal. So what is metal about, right? The emotion of compassion. So there's a lot of separation between, there's politics, there's a lot of separation between people. There's a lot of disagreements about a lot of things. And so the lack of compassion, the lack of sympathy with the earth, the lack of nourishment, all that's causing imbalances in the water. And therefore, it becomes very difficult when we're talking about the wood direction, right? Because wood does want to go. And right now there's a lot of anger and passion. And so we have to be careful about how we're able to target and use in all of us, our anger and passion in constructive ways. Because when we don't, it generates a fire that can go out of control. So I'm just looking at it from a 5 element perspective, and we can sort of see how these different elements are interacting or not interacting with each other when things are not quite healthy. And again, this has been happening for a long time. So we're seeing these things manifest almost as an illness, right? So how do we address some of these things? So we really need to, again, for me, how I see the 5 elements interacting is really there's a lack of earth at its core, really that lack of sympathy and the lack of connection with each other. That's causing the other elements to go into separation. So if we're able to generate more of a healthy earth and help ground and center ourselves, we can then generate, in that generating cycle, metal, right? And metal is about that compassion for each other, and really that helps pull us better together. And then that will generate a healthy water, and that water wisdom. And then that generates a healthy wood, and that passion and direction. And then that generates fire, a healthy fire, for all of us to become very social and connected. So I hope that gives you a little bit of what I'm seeing from a 5 element perspective. And that's what's so important for us. We can address this within ourselves in terms of, doing Qigong, and we can actually cover all these different elements. So I hope that gives you like a real life example of how generating and control cycles are actually working in real time right now. Anyone has any questions? Okay, we are good. All right, so it's good to see everybody. I did want to use this as a case examples to help you better understand why it's so important to understand the 5 elements and how the different elements are working together or not together, and why each element is so important. So you can't really disregard any one element, because when one element sort of falls apart, the whole starts to fall apart as well. Thank you for joining us today. Please continue to practice, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.